and welcome to the third video of my Getting Ready for Peru series. This is the last video before I go to Peru. And I just wanted to research different places we're going to be at, see like what the vibe is. My dad is the one who planned most of this trip out, so I just want to see like the places we're going to and maybe look into restaurants or some of the history of these places just so I know a little about where I'm going to be. And I just want to take this as an opportunity to learn more about the country where I'm from. Like, I was born in Peru and I don't know a lot about it. And so, yeah, join me on my computer screen. I saw another creator do this. I will put their name here, but after watching their video essay that they did this way, I was like, I want to try doing this. I want to try making a video like this. So here is my attempt. I already kind of started researching a little bit, but I want to bring you along for the rest of the process. Here is kind of like the outline of the places we will be during the trip. So we're going to Lima, Puerto Maldonado, Cusco, and Ica for just a day. In Ica, it's like a day trip. So I want to research a little more about these places. The first place that we're going to in Lima is a museum called Place of Memory, Tolerance, and Social Inclusion, dedicated to the Peruvian internal conflict of the 1980s and 90s. So my parents told me all about this when I was growing up because they fled the country in part because there was so much just like unrest while they were growing up there that once it was up to them, they left. So we came to the United States in the year 2000, and I was 1. So I don't know, I've always associated that time, like the 80s and 90s, as a big reason why my parents left Peru and came here to the US. So I wanted to learn more about it. So let's see what their Wikipedia says. The Loom seeks to memorialize the victims of the conflict and provide a forum where different viewpoints on the conflict can be discussed. The Peruvian Truth and Reconciliation Commission called for the creation of commemorative spaces in its 2003 report. In 2009, Germany offered Peru $2 million to construct a memorial museum. Whoa! President Alan Garcia initially rejected this offer, but ultimately accepted it in the face of pressure from NGOs and political opponents, including Mario Vargas Llosa, then head of the museum planning committee. What? This guy? Okay, also, I think this guy's an author. Maybe not. Yes, novelist, journalist, essayist, and politician. A memory of the internal conflict remains contested in Peru. Willis writes that there are two main narratives of the conflict: a state-military narrative, which emphasizes the role of terrorist violence in... I know how to say that in Spanish. I've never seen it in English. That's interesting. Promulgating the conflict, and a human rights narrative, which is critical of both insurgent and state violence, while seeking to understand how structural racism shaped the conflict. Interesting. Wow. Okay. Okay, well, this is interesting. I didn't know that Germany... Why did they do that? Peru attempts to address years of violence with Tolerance Museum. The Guardian. 1980s and 90s, tens of thousands were killed and thousands forcibly disappeared when the Maoist guerrillas of the Shining Path unleashed violence against the very people that they claimed to defend. Atrocities, were committed by Peru's security forces who used torture and forced disappearances during the state-sponsored campaign of counter-terror. My parents talked to me a lot growing up about how like big vans, like military vans or police, I'm not sure which, but they would just like show up in the middle of town and start lining you up and investigate you at random. And my dad told me about a time where he was caught in the middle of the street when like one of these raids was happening, and he like escaped and ran away. And yeah, like that's crazy. I don't know, I think it's interesting to learn about this because it affected my parents very directly. And so I'm excited to go to this museum. Another part of why this trip is important to me is because I want to learn more about my indigeneity, and I think this conflict in Peru directly affected so many indigenous people. Yeah, 75% of the people who were killed in this conflict were indigenous Quechua speaking. So I'm just excited to learn more about this and what happened and what the aftermath looked like and just like the history of it all. Okay, then we are going to Puerto Maldonado. We're going to be staying at this lodge, which I just Googled for the first time, and it looks crazy. It looks awesome. Whoa, whoa. I hope I see a capybara. They're so cute. But yeah, I guess we're gonna be hiking and doing like boat tours and stuff. But I just wanna look up Puerto. Why is my caps locks on? Maldonado. Madre de Dios. Yes, that's like the state. And I guess Puerto Maldonado is the capital. It's known as a gateway to the southern Amazon jungle. Okay, let's learn more. Okay, so we're gonna be right here. And Lima's like over here? Question mark? I'm gonna look at map of Peru. We're going to start here in Lima. Then we're going Madre de Dios and Puerto Maldonado is like right here, like right next to Bolivia. Okay, so we're gonna be like right here, going from here to here. Then we're going to Cusco, and then back to Lima, and then we're doing a day trip to Ica. Dang. Okay. This is all good to know. Rubber barons active in the business included Peruvian Carlos Fermin Fitzcarrald of Iquitos, as well as Brazilian and Bolivian interests. The workers for tapping rubber brought in endemic European diseases, causing epidemics. Fitzcarrald in his... Oh! This guy? The guy they made a movie about? I think. King of Gaucho. Yes! Fitzcarrald disassembly and transport over a mountainous jungle land bridge, as well as his exploits, inspired director and writer Werner Herzog. That's crazy. My husband's always talking about this movie. This is cool. Okay, well, it's not cool because this guy kind of sucked. It sounds like he kind of ruined everything for the indigenous people here. It makes sense that my dad grew up there for a time in his life. Well, his dad was in the military, and one of his assignments was in Puerto Maldonado. It makes sense that he was assigned to this place because it sounds like Puerto Maldonado is like a key place for resources, for connection, like it's a connecting point. So that's really interesting. Cusco, I have researched some of the places I'd like to go. They have a center for traditional textiles of Cusco, so I'd like to go to that place. And yeah, see if I can learn a thing or two about how they make their textiles there. And what is this? I don't remember. Oh, this is a yarn shop I want to go to when we're in Peru, when we're in Cusco. because I've heard really great things and I would like to get my hands on some alpaca. There are a few coffee shops that I'm interested in trying. All of these coffee shops looked really good, but I don't know which one would be the best. Yeah, this place looks awesome though. I think it's a full-on restaurant. Let's see. Yeah, that looks good. That looks really good. I kind of want to go there. I do want to get coffee one of these days. Nobody in my family drinks coffee except for my husband and I. So it might just be a thing we adventure to, and whatever is closest is where we'll go. But look how aesthetic this place looks. So I would be happy to go to any of these. I'm going to these catacombs in Lima, and I'm really curious about them. Lima, Peru. Museo del Convento de San Francisco. Bruh. Let's see. Y catacumbas. Whoa. Okay. History. It is one of the most important historical monuments in Lima, a place full of history and mysticism that combines religious art, visceral. This tour will allow you to delve into the art, Baroque architecture, and spiritual significance of this place, considered one of the most important in the world. Okay, well, actually, I'm gonna go to Wikipedia. Boop. Boop. Okay. Because that's just like the site. Catholic Church went crazy doing all of this. Okay, so basically they had underground places of worship because the closer they were to sacred lands, the closer they were to God. Interesting. My dad was telling me that in the catacombs you can find a bunch of like skulls and skeletons of like little babies and stuff, because the nuns and the priests would have sex and then have babies, and then they would kill the babies so that nobody found out that they weren't celibate. So I don't know if they're gonna go over that when we get there. Also, I don't know if it'll say anything about this in the Wikipedia. Biggest catacombs in South America. Well, the only bigger ones are the famous ones in France, according to this. I'm excited to go to this. Parque de Aguas. I don't know what that is. Whoa, it's like Las Vegas. Cute. It's Las Vegas if they had Pride there. I wonder if they do stuff like that for Pride at the Bellagio. Paracas. Okay, Ica. I'm gonna look up Ica. Ica, Peru. Ica is a city in southern Peru. On its main square Plaza de Armas, the cathedral has a neoclassical facade damaged by a 2007 earthquake. The Lord of Learn Church once held an idol of Ica's patron saint, now housed in a Carmelite convent. Ica Regional Museum shows ancient pottery. Southwest one, Huacachina Village is an oasis set amidst sand dunes. Oh, that's where we're gonna go there. Okay, wait. We're gonna have to leave really early. How far is this from Lima? Ica, Peru, Google Maps. 4.5 hours, maybe 5 hours. Bruh. Yeah, we're gonna have to leave early. Okay. What? Penguin? Oh, I thought these were the prehistoric penguins. Okay, wait, no. Okay, penguins in the desert? Giant penguins? That's so crazy. Were they first found in Peru? No. Oh, yes. See, paleontology is so cool because then you can find out about giant penguins. Giant prehistoric penguins. Wow. Was it colder? No. When worlds were at the warmest temperatures. Wow. Reevaluation of penguin evolution. Wait, when were they found? In 2007? Okay. That's cool. Scientists estimate it was about 4.5 or 5 feet tall. That's funny. That's one of the first things on the history of this place. Evidence of prehistoric indigenous civilizations have been found. Oh, and then this is famous. I think we're going to Paracas. I think my parents went there on their honeymoon, actually. Oh, I'm still on the penguin page. Oops. Paracas. Ooh, pretty. Home to sea lions, pelicans, and Humboldt penguins. Guys, I didn't know there were penguins in Peru. What the? This is awesome. I want to see these penguins. They're so cute. Oh. Its nearest relative is the African penguin. The Magellanic and the Galapagos penguin. Guys, penguins are so cute. This one's so cute. They live in coastal Patagonia, Argentina, Chile, Falkland Islands. Oh. Looks like a duck. Okay, but these penguins are cute. Bro, that's so awesome. I didn't know. Okay. Peruvian booby. What is a booby? Oh, it's a bird. Blue-footed booby. Okay, these birds are crazy. I hope my dream destination, trip has always been Galapagos Islands, just because of the crazy animals that there are there and just the impact it had on the study of evolution and all of that. Anyway, so I'm excited to see these crazy birds. I hope I see them. And I hope I see seals. Sea lions. I want to see all these animals when we go there. These islands are accessible from the resort town of Paracas by tour boat, which typically lasts 2 hours. During visits, it's not uncommon for sea lions to approach the tourist boats. On the way to the islands, visitors can see El Candelabro, a large geoglyph on the Paracas Peninsula. Oh! OMG, these guys! Wait. Oh, it's with the Z, of course. Where are they? Where are the Nazca lines? Nazca Desert, okay, pero where? Okay, there are 2 major phases of Nazca lines. Paracas phase. Oh, this is when they were made. In the 21st century, several hundreds of new figures have been found. I want to see them. Well, I guess you can't really see them unless you're in a helicopter kind of vibe. Okay. Oh, Huacachina. Guys, this is making me so excited. I mean, I was already excited, but this is gonna be awesome. I don't know how this is just gonna be a day trip. Like, what are we gonna do? Legend holds that the lagoon was created by a beautiful native princess. She removed her clothes to bathe, but after looking in a mirror, she saw a male hunter approaching her from behind. Startled at the intrusion, she fled the area, leaving behind her mirror, which turned into a lake. That's sweet. Other versions of hold that she fled, leaving the pool of water she had been bathing in to become the lagoon. The folds of her mantle streaming behind her as she ran became the surrounding sand dunes. The woman herself is rumored to still live in the oasis as a mermaid. That's so cool. Bruh. Activities. Huacachina is a resort geared to local families from the nearby city of Ica, but it is increasingly an attraction for tourists drawn by the sports of sandboarding in the sand dunes. Oh, my parents said we're going to do that. That reach heights of up to 500 meters, 1,600 feet. Another popular activity is dune buggy rides on vehicles locally known as areneros. Huacachina has been a favorite family destination for decades, and in the 60s, it was a popular summer resort for tourists around the world. Yay. That's all I have to research about. I feel a lot more excited for my trip, and I'm excited to experience all this in person and learn more about my roots, my country. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in Peru. Bye!